All right, picture this. It's a completely ordinary Monday morning. You're a bank employee in the bustling city of Fortaleza, Brazil. It's early, 8 a.m., right? People are just getting to their desks, sipping their coffee, kind of mentally preparing for the week ahead. And over the weekend, absolutely no alarms went off. No night guards noticed anything weird on the security cameras. Those massive, heavy vault doors still sealed completely tight. So to everyone in the city and everyone walking into that building, it was just a quiet, peaceful weekend. But what they didn't know, what no one could have possibly known at that exact second, was that the bank had already been robbed. And we're not talking about some sudden smash and grab. They had been being robbed for months, literally right under their feet, without a single person noticing a thing. So imagine the sheer mind-bending confusion when the bank staff actually go to open the vault that morning. Normally, right, a bank robbery leaves a chaotic signature. You expect destruction. You expect shattered locks, panicked radio calls, triggered alarms, the whole shebang. But here, nothing. It was eerily silent. The security doors weren't breached from the outside at all. Instead, there was just this perfectly carved hole right in the floor. No chaos, no mess. The money was simply gone. As the employees themselves noted at the time, it was just far too clean. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are launching a deep dive investigation into one of the most audacious, meticulously planned crimes in modern history, the August 2005's Banco Central heist in Fortaleza, Brazil. We're going to examine the timeline, the staggering engineering behind the crime, and the deadly aftermath that followed. We'll see exactly how a crew of phantom figures pulled off an impossible job, completely bypassing one of the most secure vaults in the country. Let's get into it. Part 1. Perfect silence. You know, when we think of bank heists, we usually think of speed, force, maybe a getaway car screeching around a corner. But for this crew, their absolute greatest weapon was timing and a complete, utter lack of noise. They basically used the quiet of the weekend as a weapon against the bank itself. Because let's face it, no one is watching the underground when the city above is just enjoying a peaceful Sunday. And that perfect silence allowed them to move 160 million reais. 160 million, that is the staggering scale of the cash that vanished from the Banco Central vault. To put that into perspective for a second, 160 million reais in physical paper cash, that weighs roughly 3.5 tons. Just wrap your head around the logistics of that. 3.5 tons of currency, completely moved out of a highly secured, federally protected vault, and not a single guard caught on? Part 2. Ghosts Underground. So, who actually pulls off something like this? Let's flash back to the months prior to August 2005. Honestly, the perpetrators operated like literal ghosts. They were working out of this completely unremarkable rental house right in the middle of the city. They drew zero attention, never threw parties, never raised a single red flag with the neighbors. Men just sort of came and went quietly. But beneath the feet of those completely ordinary neighbors, they were achieving an engineering marvel. They were digging an 80-meter-long tunnel directly beneath the bustling city streets of Fortaleza, aiming straight for the bank's vault. 80 meters! And guys, this wasn't just some crude hole in the dirt. It was a professional, full-scale engineering project. I mean, it was fully equipped with electric lighting so they could see exactly what they were doing. It actually had an active ventilation system so they could breathe while working deep underground for hours on end. They even structurally reinforced it with wooden supports so the city streets wouldn't literally collapse on their heads. And the most important feature of all? Absolute silence. Night after night, they painstakingly dug and hauled out bags of dirt without using any heavy trucks or loud machinery, just pure patience, sweat, and absolute precision. Part 3. How was security bypassed? Okay, so this central bank vault wasn't just some locked room. It was heavily fortified with sensors, cameras, and feet of thick concrete. To crack it from below required terrifying precision and just incredible patience. This whole thing started with months of meticulous planning. They didn't just dig blindly and hope for the best. They actually sat down and performed complex ground weight calculations to figure out exactly how much pressure the vault floor could take before the sensors would trip. They mapped the bank's exact position. Then came that grueling, silent digging phase we talked about. And all of this slow, incredibly methodical work paved the way for the final, rapid weekend operation when they knew the bank would be completely empty. Their blueprint was just chillingly clinical. Step 1. Establish a secure, unsuspicious base of operations. Rent the house. Step 2. Dig the tunnel. handling the massive logistical nightmare of dirt removal in total secret. Step 3, and this was definitely the most dangerous part, bypass the vault's sensors. One single miscalculation here, literally one slightly too hard scrape against that vault floor, and they would have triggered a massive armed police response. And finally, step 4, enter the vault. It was just a flawless execution of an unbelievably complex plan. Part 4, the Great Shock. Jumping our narrative back to that Monday morning, the psychological impact on the bank employees was profound. Think about it. When authorities respond to a standard bank robbery, they expect violence, right? Hostages, panic, blaring alarms, a messy, chaotic crime scene. But the reality inside this vault was eerily methodical. It was completely clean. The thieves had breached the floor, silently packed up 3.5 tons of cash, and just disappeared back down their tunnel. Standing there, realizing the money was gone without a single door ever being forced open, it was an absolute masterclass in covert extraction. Part 5, chasing the missing millions. By the time the police actually understood what had transpired beneath the city, the ghosts already had a massive head start. What followed was one of the most desperate manhunts in Brazilian history. The federal police launched a sprawling crackdown across the entire country, and over the course of the ongoing investigation, authorities made an astonishing 129 arrests connected to the wider criminal network. 129. The police work was incredibly extensive, tracking down leads, mapping out associations, and honestly, in the process, they even managed to prevent other similar burglaries from happening. But despite those 129 arrests and a massive nationwide manhunt, a deeply depressing reality emerged for the authorities. Out of everything stolen, only 32 million reais were successfully recovered. A staggering 128 million reais remained entirely missing. It just completely disappeared into the system. Despite all the intense police effort, the vast majority of the stolen money was never seen again. Part 6, the unsolved bloody mystery. Because here is the brutal truth. When you successfully steal 160 million reais in untraceable cash, the police aren't the only ones looking for you. The criminal underworld takes notice, fast. And very quickly, the hunters became the hunted. Which brings us to Luis Fernando Ribeiro. He was widely thought to be the mastermind behind the entire operation, the brilliant architect of that perfect silence. But Ribeiro wasn't caught by the police. No, he was tracked down by rival criminal factions who wanted a piece of those missing millions. He was violently kidnapped. And here is the grim, dark reality of this crime story. Even after a massive ransom was actually paid to his kidnappers, Ribeiro was murdered. The brilliant planner met a brutal, bloody end, leaving behind a trail of violence, terrified accomplices, and a tangled web of unanswered questions. And that leaves us right here, facing one final haunting question. Where is the rest of the money? The Banco Central heist is studied by investigators all over the world today, not because of brute force, but because of the sheer power of planning. It proves that the most successful, the most dangerous crimes aren't the ones that happen fast. They're the ones that happen in absolute silence, completely unnoticed, until it's already way too late. Over 100 million reais vanished like ghosts underground, and to this day, it remains one of the greatest mysteries in criminal history. So what do you think happened to those missing millions? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and always keep questioning